Hello and welcome back to the reality TV drama that now constitutes the news. Today's episode is brought to you with the help of My Patriot Supply, which is offering my listeners and viewers $70 off their 4-week emergency food kits at preparewithliberty.com. I'll be covering the last few days, which is quite a bit of news, so we will jump right in. Texas has been the talk of the town this week as the state has been sitting in sub-freezing temperatures without power or water. With school being canceled, Ted Cruz saw this as an excellent opportunity to fly with his family to sunny Cancun. This pissed off the people of Texas, and Cruz released a statement saying that he was only traveling to Mexico to be a good dad because his kids asked to go on a trip and he promised he was just going to drop them off in the 80-degree weather and come right back. The state Democratic Party is now demanding his resignation. Rando Hollywood celebrities also jumped on the controversy to ride the 15 minutes of internet fame, seeing as a lot of them haven't been in a movie in several years. As for the chaos unfolding outside of Twitter, the week of winter storms started with a 133-car pileup outside of Fort Worth, wind turbines froze over, power grid companies underestimated peak demand, and the state started instituting rolling blackouts to try and conserve energy. 12 million people are having issues with water supply, and another 3 million are without power. Internet is also out in many areas. Many cities have issued boil notices saying that tap water is no longer safe to use without treatment. Grocery stores are empty and people are having to rely on their emergency stockpiles. The government is blaming private companies, residents are blaming both, left news outlets are blaming Republicans and rugged individualism, and climate activists are blaming a reliance on fossil fuels. Even though frozen solar panels and wind farms may not be your best option during a winter storm. AOC took to Twitter amidst the crisis and claimed that none of it would have ever happened if they'd just only enacted her Green New Deal. The weather has also killed off many of the state's fruit and veggie crops, and dairy farmers are dumping their milk, unable to get it out for processing. Altogether, the storm is expected to disrupt food supply lines for Texas for several weeks. The storm and cold weather has also affected electricity and internet services as far as Oklahoma and Georgia, and is expected to also lead to a global oil crisis, as 40% of the nation's crude production is now offline. NASA's Perseverance rover has officially landed on Mars. Its mission will be to explore an extinct lake for evidence of extraterrestrial life. The Perseverance is the biggest and most advanced rover ever sent by NASA and is the 9th craft to successfully land on Mars. It also carries a super cool space helicopter, the first to fly on another planet, and together they'll collect samples that will be picked up by another mission in 2026. And the coolest part, the rover has also been given the MOXIE task, the goal of which is to convert elements of the Martian atmosphere into oxygen in order to lay the blueprints for human missions in the future. Cuomo's hot water has now been set to boiling as a flurry of bad news for the governor hit overnight on Wednesday. In one report, a New York Democrat who criticized Cuomo and his controversy revealed that the governor threatened to, quote, destroy him. It also came out that the state Senate is making moves to strip him of his emergency powers, which will hit a vote sometime next week. It also came out, as a bonus, that both the FBI and the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District have launched an investigation into Cuomo's handling of nursing homes during the pandemic. Facebook has elected to pull the nuclear option on Australia this week. Australia's government has announced that they plan to issue legislative changes that would require big tech to pay news publishers for content shared on their platforms. Google had previously threatened to pull its search engine from the entire country if the News Media Bargaining Code went forward, but instead shifted gears to announce partnerships with various news media organizations. Facebook decided to take a different approach and instead announced that it will block all Australian news publishers and block Australian users from posting, viewing, or sharing news content. Changes are already going into effect, forcing Australian news pages to go dark, but also taking the Facebook pages for domestic violence charities, state health agencies, food banks, some politicians, fire departments, and other emergency services along with it. For some reason. Some of those pages have since been reinstated, but not all of them. Because we are in the 2020s, which is the age of fact-checking memes, a contributing editor for the Daily Beast took to Twitter and accused Tucker Carlson's team of adding googly eyes to a photo of AOC during a segment. He later deleted the tweet upon realizing that no, that's just her face. And finally, I saved the best for last. In case you haven't heard, Biden did a town hall on Tuesday, and it did not disappoint. It was filled with Trumana Lesenapur and, the thing. Highlights included Biden suggesting that China's internment and genocide of Muslim Uyghurs is simply a matter of different cultural norms, mixing up his numbers and minimum wage statistics, and suggesting that people of color in rural areas and the inner city don't know how to use the internet. He also tried to take credit for the government's entire vaccination program, saying that no vaccine plans had been put in place when he took office, and even tried to tell Anderson Cooper that a vaccine didn't even exist until he came to the White House. Other fun Biden town hall takeaways are that Biden claimed that tax breaks specifically for racehorse owners cost the government $9 billion a year, but the White House has declined to provide a source for that figure. He also stated that most of the country's 11 million undocumented immigrants are not Hispanic, when in fact they make up over 70% of the undocumented immigrant population. To his credit, he did announce that he has no plans to cancel $50,000 in everyone's student loan debt. He stated he would consider $10,000, but that anything higher would have to go through Congress. Alright, so those are your major news headlines that I missed since the last video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, deeper dives into various topics, and weekly live streams. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next one.